What is up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the F1 22 My Team Career Mode experience. This is episode number 48 for the Belgian Grand Prix. We're going through the summer break and we are emerging out the other side. Welcome back. We are currently in a bit of a title fight with McLaren, more specifically Robert Schwartzman, the second year F1 driver who suddenly has come good. So yeah, it's an interesting little title fight we have emerging at the moment. I don't know how we're in the title fight. We're like the 5th, 6th best car. But it's been a very inconsistent season, not only for us, but for everyone. We've had a couple of DNFs now. We DNF'd in the last race with a major engine failure. Thankfully, we were already out of the points. We were having a shocking race. In that day, we had a puncture, then the engine failure. It truly was a dire Grand Prix. So let's hope we can regain some luck and some momentum in this one. We've actually already spent some resource points while I've been talking. We're currently limited by money, it has to be said. We have to save up for our contract renewal because Mark Webber is out of contract after this race. In 4 days' time, he will be unemployed. He just hasn't been good enough this season, I'm sorry to say. We've kept him for a season and a half. He started off his return to F1 in great fashion. He was the fastest teammate I've ever had, but he's just falling off now. He doesn't agree with this car. The faster he gets, the worse he gets. It's quite polarizing to how it was. So, we can't spend money on facilities. You have to save up for a second driver. We currently have 6 mil. I think we might have 8 or 9 mil at the end of this race if we are extremely lucky. So that really limits our choices, really, because everyone is quite expensive. Market value for all the top drivers is 13 to 15 mil plus. So we're going to have to look at someone a bit younger, a bit more inexperienced, potentially even a bit slower as well. I'd love to get someone like Charles Leclerc, Lando Norris, K-Mag, Pierre Gasly is a good one, George Russell, but we still don't have enough money for them. Alan Prost we can get, but, well, if we get 9 mil, that is, which is a bit of a stretch. But I think I want to go for someone who's currently on the grids, or maybe shy away from those, I don't know what the word is, those legend drivers, those extra DLC kind of drivers. We've gone down that route with Mark Webber. We could potentially get Oscar Piastri. We'll see. Webber is 8 mil, and we still can't currently afford him. So we'll go through this Grand Prix, hopefully get a good race, and get some good sponsorship bonuses, and then really go from there. But there we are. That is the update on the championship standings. We're 10 points behind Robert Schwartzman, like we said. And the constructors, Webber's really not really helping us at all. He's only got 16 points. Yes, he's had a couple of DNFs, but he keeps making constant mistakes in crucial positions, and his pace has been flaky sometimes. Sometimes he'll be really quick, and then all of a sudden loses all of his pace, and then he's at the back. So not good enough. We need a better, more consistent teammate. So we might have to dip into some youth potentially, maybe even F2 drivers. Felipe Drugovich, Liam Lawson, Oscar Piastri, who knows? We might potentially delve into that this episode. At the very least, it will be next episode that we have to choose a new teammate. Now, here's the update on the car performance. You can see we're leaving the bottom 4 teams in an absolute gulf there. They've not upgraded all season, so they're going for the Haas tactic or the Williams tactic and just completely diverting resources to next year's car. We are catching the likes of Alpine. Ferrari upgraded a little bit. Red Bull overtake McLaren to be the best car, so it's going to be an interesting dynamic. If Red Bull can take away points from McLaren, that'd be great. But I think we've made the biggest gains out of anyone heading into this race, so we should be fairly competitive, and this is Mark Webber's last chance to impress as an F1 driver. So let's get into the weekend. Time for qualifying now for the Belgian Grand Prix. Okay, so it looks like we've got very, very similar conditions to what we had in co-op last week. It started off raining in qualifying, and then it dried up, but not enough to make it dry tires. However, I think it's going to be different in this session. I think we will see the dry compound tire towards the end of Q1. So we'll have to wait and see about that. We're not going to get tempted into a wet setup because the race is going to be dry as well. And like I said, it's only going to be a portion of Q1 that is going to be wet. At least for 10 minutes. After you see there, 15 minutes time, it will be dry. So here we go for qualifying.
No threat of rain for the time being. Conditions look good. Inters look like the best tyre for now.
Now, I genuinely thought we'd be on the dry compound tyres around now. So I didn't even opt to go out on the intermediate tyres earlier on in the session because I thought dry is coming. Dry is coming. We get to the end of the session, and no, it's still not dry. The Inter is still the fastest compound tyre by like 9 or 10 seconds. So what we're doing here is going out right at the end here. And I suppose this is fine. We're making the best of the current track conditions. We are just going to be a little bit more rusty to the other drivers who have their eye in a little bit more. But that should be okay. As long as we set a time right at the death, right when the track is at its best, we come across the line now, first lap, and it is provisional pole position. It is only Q1, but we are P1 at the moment, and even after one corner, we're up by 2/10, so the track is ramping up massively. Could even see dry compounds. If someone was really daring, in the final 2 minutes left with dry compound tires, we might be at the crossover point next lap. We're still 120 seconds, 1 minute 20 seconds left in this session, so we can get one more lap in after this one. The ERS seems to be okay. We are charged to keep going, so I think we will. Up by 1.7, 1.9 seconds. I can't even keep up with it across the line. And again, that is P1 again, 1 minute 48.7. And now, as we go towards the checkered flag, the track is dry. The track is literally dry now, and I don't even think these tyres will improve. Well, it says they are. DRS has now been enabled, and the AI, you'd think they'd be setting laps now, but they're actually returning back to the box. They only fueled up for one lap, and as such, they didn't get anywhere near the best of the conditions. They set their times when I did my first flying lap. I then did a second, and I could have done a third, but we kind of bottled the third lap there. So now it is fully dry in Q2. Let's see what the AI can muster in this one. But the pace was very encouraging. Despite the limited running in Q1, we were right up there. And that was with a dry setup. So now in dry conditions, we're not going to have the same advantage. But, you know, let's see if we can be just as competitive in the dry. Across the line, we go inside the top 5. We're going to play around with tire pressures a little bit. I'm constantly playing around with this. Tire pressures is my biggest, I don't know, Achilles heel, but it's a thing that I like to trial and error with the most. Track to track, car to car co-op versus career modes. You really just got to play around. Just try and get away with the highest tire pressures you can. Gives you more grip. If your tires are overheating, then it's a different issue. So we've lowered the tire pressures. We've invalidated this lap actually. We're currently in P9, and we really needed this lap to improve. We're on the brink in P10, but I think everyone has set their times and are now on a cooldown lap, I believe. I'm not even sure. I wasn't paying attention. It might be checkered flag. That might be it for the session. Hopefully we're okay. I think we are okay, actually. We're just pushing the limits with track limits to see what we can get away with, because there were no consequences on that lap. We could have just kept pushing super hard to see what we could learn. And, well, yeah, you got to do it. So that's what we've done heading into Q3. We have a better baseline, a better understanding of what the car can do right on the limit or even beyond the limit. We've also increased the front wing angle just to get a little bit more purchase with the front end to maximize those high-speed corners. We are very quick in sectors 1 and 3. 1 and 3? No, we're not quick in sector 3 for some reason. We're actually more quick in sector 2, which makes absolutely no sense considering our low wings. Maybe the AI are running even lower than I am, and I feel like I'm running quite low wings with 11.7, but who knows. Anyway, out we go for the final run of this session, currently in P5 at the moment with very, very cold tyres. We're going to let Lewis Hamilton go, and we're going to set a time right at the death here. The tyre wear is quite brutal, it has to be said. Driving very slowly. We've already got 4%. on our outlap. So that is very strange. Anyway, starting our lap, and away we go. The qualifying 3, Carlos Sainz just finished his lap, and now he's compromising my lap on his cooldown lap. We lost 2 tenths at turn 1 alone, and that might potentially ruin our qualifying session here. We are fast-forwarding time a little bit just to get to the more juicier parts of the circuit. And here we go. We need a bonkers Sector 2 and Sector 3 to recover anything on this lap to get in the mix with Robert Schwartzman, who's down the order a little bit in P8. Championship leader right now. We could really be capitalizing on that if we can find another 3 or 4 tenths on top of this. It's going to be a tall order, but we're doing our best. We're actually riding the curbs really well, at least compared to how I was in co-op qualifying. I was a little bit scared to touch those curbs, but here I just seem to have better front end. I'm actually able to hit my apexes a little bit better. Look at the curb usage. Car is taking it like an absolute champion, and we're making up time because of it. Nearly a tenth up on the second sector split. Purple to Sector 2, which for me is usually unheard of. I'm usually rubbish in Sector 2 compared to AI. But the last 5-6 years on the F1 games, I'm always fast in Sectors 1 and 3 and rubbish in Sector 2. The AI maybe are following us in terms of setup strategy and just making themselves OP. So it'll be interesting in the race to see if they have more straight line speed than us. But let's not talk about the race. Let's talk about qualifying. Across the line, we improved by over a tenth, and it puts us P8 ahead of our championship rival, Robert Schwartzman. Despite getting blocked by Sainz and held up, we managed to improve. And without that, we probably would have been P6 in that qualifying session. Still nowhere near a perfect lap. We could have maybe even been P5 if we were super lucky. But that's the way it's gone. More pace to find in the race. Let's get it.
We're in Belgium once again for today's round of the Formula One World Championship. It's a race that the great Ayrton Senna won 6 times, and in 2019, Charles Leclerc became the first driver to take their maiden win here since Michael Schumacher back in 1992. It's just about time to go down to the track for the beginning of the race, but before we do, Anthony Davidson, what types of strategy do you think we can expect for today's event?
Well, there's a lot that both the driver and the team have to keep in mind when going into a race. The tyres, fuel, energy recovery systems, the list goes on and on. But I think the key to today's victory will come down to the pit stop strategy. Come in too soon and you might find yourself needing more than one stop. Too late and you're putting yourself at a disadvantage by spending longer on worn tyres.
All right, so here we are on the grids. I didn't show the grid rundown because literally no one else has really changed position. So it's pretty much as it was from qualifying, but now we head to the race. I think medium soft is probably the order of the day. Unlike co-op, we have some tire wear upgrades, many more so than the other series that we're doing. I know I like to compare co-op with main career mode, and it might be confusing if you don't watch the other series, but I think it's very comparable at this stage. We're in Season 2 in co-op with a fairly upgraded Ferrari. It's not really getting upgraded anymore, versus a Season 3 car with reduced resources and stuff. So, I don't know. I like to compare to see how we're tracking in both series. Somehow we're less consistent in this series. It's usually the other way around. But I know from previous experience that with tyre wear upgrades, we should be able to get away with, one stop minimum. But if we're lucky, we can do medium soft. And I think maybe some of the AI are catching on to that as well. With Oscar Piastri, Mick Schumacher, and Dan Ticktum, sorry about that, starting on the soft. So looks like 2 aggressive tyres are the way to go. Hopefully the leaders don't catch on to that. Otherwise, it will be a little bit more tricky to do something at the back end. So here we go. Gearing up for this race. If the AI do go on hard at the back end, then we are in the money. Soft versus hard at the end is going to be like 2 seconds a lap difference. So we just need to stay close. Hope that our pace is good. It should be better in the race compared to what we achieved in qualifying. We just need a good start. 5 red lights, and we are underway for the second half of this season. My team is a go once again in 2023. Robert Schwartzman getting off to a good start, going up the inside, heading into turn 1. Tried not to run into the back of Ocon, and that's cost us a little bit of time. We do get the better exit, though, compared to our championship rival. It's going to be side by side as we run up Radion and Eau Rouge for the first time, round the outside of the McLaren. and we take P8 in this race. Meanwhile, we've got a replay because Mark Webber in his final race has come together with George Russell, I want to say. Here's the replay. Oh my words! What just happened there? I think it was Russell that swerved, but it happened so quickly that I didn't really catch on to what happened. But George Russell is out of the Grand Prix. Will we get a safety car? 3 wide for the 3 ahead. Norris and Ocon making contact, and that might well be damage on the front wing for the Ferrari driver. Schwartzman gets me back. And this first half a lap, first third of the first lap is absolutely wild. We get up the inside of Ocon. Schwartzman overtakes 3 cars in as many corners. Ocon's fighting back. Contact between Hamilton and Schwartzman. It's all kicking off in this race. And Ocon is trying to defend. He might actually get up the inside of Hamilton. He does. He doesn't keep the position. A bit of contact with the Alpine driver. Perez in the other Mercedes is having to go at us as well. I can't keep up. Honestly, I can't keep up with what's happening. That's a massive slide for Ocon and a free kick for us. Free penalty. Thank you very much. Don't try to bring football analogies into motor racing, Ben. It just does not translate very well. That's the first lap. And if that's an indication of what we have to come, then bring it on. I want to see that times 22. So here we go for take 2. Hamilton next. Schwartzman has got off to an absolute flyer. By the way, the AI ghosting in turn 1. Okay. Schwartzman is a man on a mission. The Red Bulls are looking pretty good at the moment. There's a Red Bull, maybe Leclerc, doing some rear gunning for Max Verstappen. You saw I had a massive lift into the Les Combe chicane. It's because we're not really going anywhere. Someone is going really slow here. We go round the outside of Hamilton, casual as you like. Someone has lost a wing. It might be that Red Bull. Sainz and Norris going really slowly. It's hard to tell who's got the damage here. I'm just really confused. Now we see Schwartzman making another position on a Ferrari. He's not going to hang on to that. Norris uses a bit of ERS to keep the momentum. But yeah, I thought for a second it was the Red Bull who had damage and was holding everyone up. But I think now it might be Carlos Sainz who's really struggling in this race. So I'll have to pull up a replay and just see if he's got any front wing damage or something. We go purple to the first, green to the second. But we're losing oh so much time to the top 2 who are absolutely flying in this race. I have a feeling the car in P2 might be an Alpine, and I think it's Kevin Magnussen. As you can see, the AI going super slow in a flat-out corner. It has to be Sainz or Norris who's got some front wing damage. It is Sainz. Doesn't pull into the pit lane. Half his wing is missing, and he's carrying on for the sake of what I can only assume is just trying to make the tyre strategy work. You can probably box for hards to get to the end from here. He's on mediums. He's not going to stretch all the way to softs. We do get up the inside of Schwartzman and all that to take P6. So Schwartzman's been quite unlucky to not get one or both Ferraris as they go side by side up Eau Rouge. And now we have an incredible run. We have an amazing run. We're going to get both the Ferraris in one straight. We're now in P4 in this Belgian Grand Prix. We give Carlos Sainz a bit of a wave, a bit of karma after what happened in qualifying. Side by side with Norris. I didn't expect him to have quite good momentum at the back end of that straight. But we finally get him. Norris is coming back at us using a lot of ERS to dive bomb up the inside into the right-hander. And Norris has got us back once again. What is this Belgian Grand Prix? This is nuts. 3 laps in, and this is probably one of the best races of this entire season. The AI are not messing about today. Neither of the top 2. They're absolutely flying. The Red Bull, who was parking the bus on lap 2, lap 1, is now checking out and is actually maybe the fastest car on circuit right now. Leclerc is absolutely flying. 3 seconds he's made in only 2 laps to Lando Norris. This is crazy. We get up the inside of Norris now with DRS. A lot easier to do when he's not got DRS on his teammate. And we say sayonara to the Ferraris now. Schwartzman gets up and past Carlos Sainz, who, by the way, hasn't stopped yet. That's our first warning for track limits. Purple to the first sector. We're trying to push on here to flex the muscles, flex the pace on the rest of the field. Let's see if we can do a fastest lap here. There's a yellow flag. Someone going slowly. And that is not a fastest lap, not the pace to do anything. I think a safety car's been deployed for Yuki Tsunoda, who is retired. And that is actually perfect timing because... what's happened to my tyres? What has happened to my tyres? They're dead! 40% nearly after 5 laps on medium compound tyres. That is not normal. Anyway, as I was saying, the safety car was perfect because we didn't have the pace probably to catch up to the next group of cars. Now we're going to be on them again and we're going to have fresh tyres. We're going to go to hards because the tyre wear seems very drastic for this circuit. So onto the hards. Slow pit stop. Slow pit stop. Not many people boxed actually under that safety car. They're sticking to their strategy. They're trying to push on and maybe box for softs later on, which might very well help them. But I can't get over that tyre wear. That doesn't seem right. It's almost like a regulation change. Like Pirelli in 2011. No, not Pirelli. The FIA changed the regulations like mid-2011 to try and help Ferrari or something. Sometimes we see compound changes mid-season, and this might be one of them. I'm not too sure. Either that or Pirelli have brought a step too soft compounds to this race meeting. We might be running the softest compounds possible at this race. That's the only explanation I have for why the mediums were nearly dead after 5 laps. Based on those tyre wear numbers, I think we're going to have to box again. I'm not sure the hards are actually going to get us to the end of the race. If they do, we're probably not going to have any pace by the back end and going to be risking punctures. I mean, we saw how bad how much we underestimated the tyre wear in co-op and actually got a puncture in that race. And the tyre wear seems to be worse today, despite having more tyre wear upgrades. So I'm really puzzled. Really puzzled. We just have to crack on. We've already got 5% wear on these tyres, despite only racing for about 3 or 4 corners after safety car. We go around the outside of Stroll. The majority of the people ahead of us are on old tyres, so there should be a significant pace difference between the two of us if they have the same tyre wear as us. If they don't, then we're screwed. But anyway, here is a replay of Carlos Sainz again on the struggle bus in this race. Webber gets him, but he makes a dog's breakfast of that exit and is going to be severely under pressure, I think, from the rest of us. Leclerc on fresh tyres, fresh mediums, no less. And he's going to be pretty quick. He backs out of it, loses all the momentum, and we nearly run into the back of Alonso, heading into Blanchimont. Oh my word, it's absolutely wild in this Belgian Grand Prix, trying to go around the outside of Leclerc. He dive bombs 2 cars into the bus stop chicane and takes P10. Webber boxes as well, so do many of the race leaders, and we take Alonso, the other McLaren, who is still a good chance of getting the championship this season. He goes up the inside, and we're going to give him the corner. We're going to try and overtake with some DRS after Eau Rouge and Radion. We are looking to do a Mark Webber here of 2012. Round the outside we go. Can we hold it? Stay inside the track limits. Don't spin out. We nearly died there at that corner. That was on the edge of grip for this car. Here comes Tigton with all his ERS. And he's actually going to get Fernando Alonso here and all that. So as we leave him a little bit of space, I actually gave him some slipstream to try and disrupt Fernando Alonso in this race. Even though he's on a different tyre strategy at the moment, he is almost certainly a threat in this race. Could well be later on. So to throw a slower car at him, in front of him, can only help us. Meanwhile, race leaders are in. Checo, we've got Schwartzman and Lando Norris all coming in for another set of tyres. They're going to another set of mediums. So the AI are struggling for tyres, it seems. They are not going hard to get to the end. They're not even trying the softs. So they're going medium, and I can only assume they're going to end on the softs to finish this race. Maybe they are struggling for tyres just as much as what I am, in which case they might even go hards again. So we'll have to wait and see. We'll get an update on our tyre wear in a second as well. I'm thinking about going to...
Leclerc is ahead of you. Okay, gap to the car ahead is 3.0 seconds. They're on old mediums. Okay, they've got 4 laps on their tyres. We think they've got 1 more stop.
Yeah, they are 2 stopping. Even Leclerc is. So I'm going to go back to mediums, I think, to finish this race. I don't think Yeah, based on the numbers, 23% on these tyres already. We've only been on them for 5 or 6 laps, and most of them consisted of safety cars. So I think we have to go to mediums. I think the soft will die in like 2 or 3 laps based on those numbers. So that's absolutely crazy. Anyway, you can see the gap to Charles Leclerc is extending, and I'm actually pushing quite hard. I'm on quite a good lap here, but it's not a personal best. We are not improving on that. But even still, Leclerc is absolutely flying. He's got ahead of Magnussen, and we just don't have the pace of the Red Bulls today, unfortunately. We're just going to have to consolidate, hopefully P3 or P4. It's a wild old race now with this 2-stop emerging out of nowhere in this season. This is normally one of the easier 1-stops in the calendar, but now it's a 2-stop. So I just don't know what to expect anymore. We've got another safety car in this race, guys. And now, oh my word, what has happened there? Is that Guan Yu Zhou and Aston Martin? I just don't know what's happening anymore. This is absolutely wild. I think that's Dan Ticktum, actually. It is Dan Ticktum. Out of the Grand Prix. Massive crash with the Aston Martin. And now, this is a perfect opportunity to come in. We're going to go to mediums. Tyres are already at 43%. We will have a couple of slow laps behind the safety car, but it will be quite the stretch to get these to the end. Let's see. Lap 15, lap 16, we'll probably get going again. We did 5 laps on our mediums before. They were like 40 odd percent, 50%. So I think we could probably do 6 laps on mediums. 6 flying laps on mediums at the end of the race, with tyre wear hopefully being less of an issue with the lower fuel load. It will be close. It will very much be close. The AI are all on hards now, those who boxed under this most recent safety car. So this strategy is quite wild today. I'm really enjoying it. I always said, and I always say, 2-stop races, 3-stop, 4-stop races, the more pit stops in a race, usually the better the racing and the greater the strategy. So it's certainly a welcome change from the 1-stop boredom. And away we go for what is hopefully the final restarts of this race. You can see Leclerc going defensive into turn 1. We're going to use our fresh mediums to our pace as much as we can as we go around the outside. He got the better traction. We got caught up on the curve there, which gave us a little bit of wheel spin and enabled Leclerc to just hang on for now. He almost rear-ended him. I think we did make ever so slight contact.
Okay, no issues with tyre wear for now.
No tyre damage. No car damage. He's talking about tyres, so we're absolutely fine. Using all the ERS to hopefully get the Red Bull up the inside into the Lecombe chicane. And we are now on the podium in this Belgian Grand Prix. You know how earlier I was saying I'd be lucky to get P3, P4 because we didn't have the pace? Well, now we do have the pace. We've got the tyre advantage, and it should be 7-8 tenths a lap for at least the next few laps. So let's see if we can hopefully make the most of that. Max Verstappen absolutely flying there in P1. There's another local yellow. Oh, it's my teammate again! Getting stuck into other cars. He literally made contact with Russell, which ended his race. And then the massive lockup from Webber is actually yeeted Nicholas Latifi out of this race. You just don't do that to the GOAT. And now we have another safety car in this race. Is that 3 safety cars? 3 safety cars in this race. That is absolutely mental. I just don't know what to say. We're doing a little bit of fuel burning as well because we started like a lap underneath the recommended laps to get to the end, and we're like 3 laps over now. So trying to burn as much fuel as I can, also trying to go as slow as I can to keep the tyre wear down. This actually helps us. This safety car very much helps us. We got into P3. Now we're going to have a clear shot at Kevin Magnussen on the restarts. And there should be absolutely no concerns about tyre wear for us to get to the end. Whereas these hard compound runners aren't going to get their tyres switched on immediately. So big advantage for us. And Webber is inadvertently helping us. Away we go. What I hope now is the final restart of this Belgian Grand Prix. Unfortunately, unable to get Magnussen into turn 1 this time. And Alpine is very quick. They are upgrading very well. I think they're the next quickest car after us. But they're relatively close to the leaders on outright performance. So here we go. Using all that ERS here on this straight. Hopefully we can get him. It might take a bit of a dive bomb into the Lecombe chicane. And there we go. A bit of a lockup, actually. Initially from Magnussen. And that's all the invitation we need to take P2 and 18 points. Max Verstappen is next. He's going to be quite tough to overtake. We've seen how quick he is throughout the day. I think he's been managing his pace as well. And now he's going to be full send. We are full send as well in an effort to try and get him purple to the first sector. A little bit down in sector 2. Can we improve in sector 3? Up to the line. No. 4/10 off our personal best. We're going to have to dig deep here if we want to beat Max Verstappen. His pace is only going to get better as his fuel load burns off. He's going to have no concerns for tyre wear. We don't really have any concerns either. There's another yellow flag. I think it might be Charles Leclerc. It is Charles Leclerc. He's out of the Grand Prix. The AI just can't stop crashing today. And that is very reminiscent of Lewis Hamilton back in 2011 at the Belgian Grand Prix. Pretty ridiculous. But we also have more shenanigans with the local yellow. You can see Aston Martin coming together with Lando Norris. That's a bit of front wing damage, you'd have to say. Back to the replay of what happened with Leclerc. His tyre just exploded. That is simulation damage for you. A little bit more extreme than usual, but that is what simulation damage can do. If you lean on another car, it's a non-contact sport, and Charles Leclerc finds out the hard way. Also a massive shame for Kevin Magnussen, who was in P2 for the majority of this race, and that has really helped the McLarens more than I'd like. P3 and P4, Robert Schwartzman might get some team orders to get ahead of Alonso for the championship, but that is just not great. Schwartzman was looking at P7, P8 at one stage of this race, and now we're only going to gain minimal points. But still time in this race. There's still time for us to win this Grand Prix. Max Verstappen looks a little bit slower on this lap. We are also going a little bit quicker compared to our previous. Actually, purple to the middle sector. Maybe these tyres were a little bit cool on the restart lap, and now they're up to temperature, we can fully push them. We are also getting a bit of slipstream from Max Verstappen as well. We might even get DRS on this last lap. So it's all to play for in this Belgian Grand Prix. All of a sudden, we're in the fight for a win. And really, all race long, we haven't had the pace to do so. It's only the tyres that's bridging the gap to this OP Red Bull. Nice, not nice exit. Not as nice as I want it to be. A bit of wheel spin on the curb again. Out of turn 1, that's going to put us on the back foot trying to overtake Max Verstappen. We're using all of our ERS down to 13%, and we will get DRS. We're going to use everything on this straight to try and get ahead of Max Verstappen. This is our best chance for the lead of the Grand Prix. He defends the inside, and we're going up there anyway into the lead of this Belgian Grand Prix. Max Verstappen holding the outside. He gives up there, but he might have a little bit of a fight back here. The AI are so strong out of this corner, and he's using all of his ERS to counterattack us up the inside. Max Verstappen takes the lead of the Grand Prix once again. We're holding around the outside. It turns to the inside for the next left-hander. We're rubbing tyres on this last lap. Max has got more ERS than I do, and it's making life very difficult. We go side by side through Pouhon, and we take the lead again in this race. Even right from lap 1, this race was absolutely nuts, and there's not been a second of reprieve. Max Verstappen is all over us, and it's in his OP ERS mode. The AI like to dump all their battery on this last lap. I don't think we've seen the last of Max Verstappen. We're using all of our ERS to try and get ahead, and here he comes up the inside. That Red Bull is so quick. We want to give him the inside here because we want to be on the right-hand side for the bus stop chicane. So let's hope we can hold on. It's side by side. Who's going to decide who wins this race into the last chicane? Max Verstappen looks up and gives us a lead at the very last corner. We are going to win the most crazy Belgian Grand Prix I've ever seen. 26 points.
Absolutely awesome. Just amazing, mate. Well done.
Absolutely huge race for us in the championship. Massive recovery for us. Massive recovery for McLaren.
A nearly flawless performance here then, and a commanding victory. Talk to me, Ant. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
I think we'll chalk this one up to a deft touch on the brake pedal. That's allowed them to challenge down the inside into the braking zones, and ultimately, if you do that often enough, you end up winning the race. It was great to watch as well though, wasn't it? Forget strategy, forget tyre management. Who doesn't love a good old-fashioned scrap?
Well, I'm thoroughly exhausted after the excitement of that race, but I'm sure it's nothing compared to our drivers here. They've worked hard to make it up there, and it's great to see them make their way onto the podium now.
I can't believe this Belgian Grand Prix recovered from nowhere at the start of this race. We just slowly made our way forward. Everyone just seemed to get caught out by mistakes, safety cars, strategy. I mean, a lot of people didn't box under one of the first safety cars, and that gave us a major advantage. And then a safety car came out again and again and again, and we were just on the better tyre at the end, and we were just about close enough to Max Verstappen in pace to do anything. So, crazy. We got the fastest lap. We got the win. We got ahead of Fernando and Schwartzman. And, even though those two recovered super well in this race, particularly Alonso, last to third, he was a man on a mission. But, Schwartzman on that first lap, he overtook so many cars. I was really dreading that he was going to extend the championship lead ever further in this one. But we've taken the lead of the drivers' standings in a Porsche Marduk Motorsport car. Where did Webber end up? He's still on 16 points. He didn't get in the top 10. He did make a mistake. He made a couple of mistakes. He crashed out two people in this race, whether that was his fault or not. The second one definitely was, with a major lockup into Gotifi. But that is how the career of Mark Webber ends, unfortunately. Let's have another look at this last lap. This was absolutely bonkers. Verstappen, we knew this. We kind of anticipated he was going to have a go at us into that corner. Right here was nuts. We were just literally leaning on each other through that corner, and how suspension component didn't snap, how there wasn't a puncture or anything, or just a sudden, locking of wheels that would have sent one of us into the barrier. Nuts. We gave each other just enough room. Arguably, Max didn't really give me any space to go side by side through that corner. Nice little slide there for Max, which I didn't pick up on. And then here, he's got much more battery than I do. He's using overtake in parts of the circuit that I just can't, because I don't have as much as what he does. And he's got very good straight line speed in that Red Bull. The AI were very quick in Sector 3 all weekend long compared to us. Very on the limit through Blanchimont going through that fast left-hander. And then Verstappen throws it away with the lockup. If he would have held the outside, he would have had the inside for the final corner and could have easily squeezed me off into Narnia. But he didn't. And you can tell he's absolutely furious by flying past me on the straight after we won the race. What a Grand Prix. If that doesn't deserve a like, I don't know what does. That was absolutely incredible. And from memory, I can't remember a better race than that this season. But like I was saying earlier, that is how the career of Mark Webber ends. Just in mediocrity, unfortunately. Thanks, Mark, for all you've done. He's been actually really good for the team in the background, facilitating the Porsche Marduk Motorsport collaboration. He's brought some major brands and sponsors into the team. But unfortunately, on the driving side, he hasn't really delivered. I guess he did fill in out of nowhere for Oscar Piastri, who didn't want to be part of the team anymore, being Oscar Piastri's manager. Webber stepped in, did a great job, but now I think he has to step aside and let youth come back in again. Maybe we'll keep Mark on the team as a mentoring kind of role for the second driver to help with the brands and expanding things going forwards. But yeah, from the driving side, unfortunately, that is it from Mark Webber. Let me know down in the comments who we should replace him with. And yeah, we'll see. We'll invest in facilities as well to really give our second driver the best chance possible for growth and for focus, and to really help them step up and be a future star in F1. But there we go, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Crazy Belgian Grand Prix. Really love the strategy of the two-stop. I hope that isn't unique to this race, and we can have that for the rest of the season, because that was awesome. More of that, please. Until the next one, I think it's the Singapore Grand Prix. No, it's Singapore for co-op. Next is Monza. Join me then for more chaos in my team.